The Toronto Maple Leafs have a golden opportunity. And following 3 wins in a row, Matthew Knies playing better than ever, the Leafs find themselves in a very interesting position. So we're going to break that down as well as discuss some comments from Craig Berube. He had some interesting things to say. We also have some major updates ahead of tomorrow night's big game. So stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we get into it, quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. If you're part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Leafs content. But ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot to go over today. But we're going to start with last night's game a little bit here, and we have some quotes that just came out very recently, and it was a big game, a huge win, and the opportunity that the Leafs have and the opportunity the Leafs find themselves in right now is very interesting, and they've had their fewest games to 30 wins in Maple Leaf history. You can see 2021 was 43, and then this season they're tied with 2 other seasons at 48. Now, obviously, we had a stream following the game yesterday. It was a phenomenal game. There's no doubt about that. The Leafs are playing really well. Hopefully, they can continue to get that rolling against an easier opponent tomorrow and into Saturday. But Darius, the team is just playing really good hockey. Matthews, Marner, and Matthew Knies are combining and playing really good hockey. I mean, this team now has an opportunity to really push and separate themselves in that Atlantic division.
Yeah, they have a really good opportunity here to do something that they've never done, and that's win the President's Trophy. I've been talking a lot about, this year they have to go out and win the Atlantic Division. You have to give yourself the best shot possible to play a weaker opponent, if you really want to call it that, because the East this year, I mean, anybody can make the playoffs still, and anybody can make the playoffs in the Atlantic Division at this point. Everything is still up in the air. So they have a great opportunity here, being, third in the league, could change over the next couple of days, to go for the President's Trophy with the way they've been playing. And honestly, I thought they were going to take a step back this year in the regular season because there's going to be some growing pains. You've been playing the same way for 6 years and things were going to change. Not the case. This style of hockey works. We know it works because the Florida Panthers play a similar style and some other teams that have found success in the playoffs. We just hope that it translates to the playoffs. And I think if they give themselves the best opportunity possible, which is finishing first in the Atlantic and finishing first in the league, they've never won a President's Trophy. Go ahead and do that. Give yourself the best chance possible. And I think right now, with where they sit in January and some more breaks coming up and some guys, being off due to injury this year and getting some breaks like Tavares, like Matthews, they have a really good opportunity here to do that this season.
You have Matthew Knies obviously playing well. You have Anthony Stolarz on his way back. He should be good in a couple of weeks here. And Austin Matthews spoke out on his Michigan attempt yesterday. I didn't see any other option. The puck was rolling. It was the beginning of the period. Tape was fresh, all these different things. I thought it was a reasonable attempt. I mean, this team seems very locked in on winning right now. And obviously William Nylander had the breakaway man, Craig Berube said, and they have the team, Craig Berube, that is playing so well and so sound that if they can continue these types of games where they go out and they just... Now, again, they didn't dominate from start to finish. They had a really good start, and then the second and third period, they played their defensive, responsible style of game. But since John Tavares went down, which was a big concern, the Stars have stepped up. Austin Matthews, 4 goals, William Nylander, 4 goals, and Mitch Marner with 7 points. So these are the players that, again, we've seen this throughout over the past few years. The regular season, they always play well. The real question is once it comes playoff time. But Darius, looking at the stats here, I mean, Matthew Knies has been unbelievable. Mitch Marner has been unbelievable. And Austin Matthews, and again, Matthews is starting to heat up now. He missed, obviously, a lot of the season. But Mitch Marner has had 67 points through 48 games. If these guys can continue to play well, we know how good Matthew Knies was against Boston in the playoffs last year. If he can translate his game in the regular season to the playoffs, along with the physicality that he brings, being a strong power forward, the team has the President's Trophy, which is a little bit cursed. Some fans are a little bit scared about that. So that's obviously something that people like to consider. But the team is just stacking on wins. And for me, my eyes are on the Atlantic Division.
Yeah, I think the Atlantic Division is exactly what you're shooting for. And if you look at Matthew Knies' stats again, I mean, I thought that he was going to finish this season with 40, 45 points, maybe tailing along on that first line just based on his play last year. He's taken a ginormous step forward, and I think that Leaf fans were expecting him to take a step. But I mean, he already has 31 points this season in just 46 games. I know he's playing with top-tier talent, but he's playing well alongside them. He's only 22. He just turned 22, and he has 18 goals this year. That's really impressive to me. He's well on his way to 30 goals. That they should have signed this contract in the preseason because this contract is going to be possibly a problem for the Leafs unless they do something like a bridge, because he's looking really good. He's a great asset for this team. And not only that, in the season he's putting together, this guy gets better in the playoffs. We've seen it the last 2 years, right? He's kind of done his thing for the regular season, hasn't been that much of a factor, but he is this year. So I can only imagine what he's going to do in the playoffs this year. And Mitch Marner, too. I mean, he's well on his way to over 100 points this year. We knew that it was probably going to happen. It's a contract year. These things always happen. We saw Nylander last year, but he's having another great season on both sides of the puck too. So, credit where credit's due. And Austin Matthews coming back from injury. Again, I'm not sure if I like them playing together on that top line. We'll see if it sticks together. For the time being, it's working and it's great. But coming back from injury, he's looked fantastic. He looks like his normal self. He has 128 shots on the season and almost 20 goals already. So he's not going to finish anywhere close to 70 or 80 like I imagined he would. But he's still having a great season despite missing time and dealing with probably a significant injury because he was out for quite a while.
As long as they win games, that's what matters the most to all of these guys. And Craig Berube spoke out on it a bit. He said, very good on Matthews' game. Very good. He's playing at a pretty high level right now. That line has been really good. They're all chipping in and producing. They're working really well together. Nazi, for me, has been driving. He's really helping that power forward, or playing that power forward type of game to a T, in my opinion. It really helps that line. And yeah, it is desperately helping that line. And not only was it needed, it is great to see, because these 3 wins that the Leafs had were, again, against very, very good teams, which, following 3 losses against some okay teams, now they need to take care of business against the other teams. And also, Craig Berube, quickly before we move on in the updates on Fraser Minton, who had an interesting game. I thought he played a solid game. That line did us some good things, had energy at times, had some chances. They were pretty good. He was solid. First game back, it's been a while. He was happy. So that's good. I mean, as long as the coach is happy, ultimately, I think he played okay. He's still, I don't know if he's NHL ready yet for a team that's trying to win a cup, but that's a conversation for another day. Touching on the lines for tomorrow's game, at least at practice today, you have Nyes, Matthews, Marner, McMahon, Holmberg, Nylander, Domi, Minton, Robertson, Lorentz, Kampf, Lorentz. Now, that is a typo, I would assume, and I'm assuming Lorentz, we don't know who's going to be in. I guess there's maybe someone isn't there, but
I think it's Reeves.
Yeah, I'd assume Reeves would be in there, but again, we'll have an update for you as it comes out. The defensive groups, Riley McCabe, OEL Tanev, Benoit Timmins with Hakanpää, and Myers factoring out once again in the blue line pair. And also, it seems that Dennis Hildeby is going to get the start, Joseph Wall is having a full day off, so you'd assume Dennis Hildeby gets the start tomorrow. So a few things to go over here, but it's assuming Reeves factors in. A little bit interesting. Connor Dewar gets the night off tomorrow, but again, we'll have an updated video with the updated lines as they come out.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting on the defensive side. They're going with something, I guess, exactly with what they went last night. And I mean, Tanev and OEL is a very interesting pairing to me. I don't know if it sticks, but for the time being, it worked yesterday, so they're going to stick with it. I think they need a more permanent solution heading into the playoffs, because you need Tanev and McCabe to be playing together in that shutdown role. But, they need to find Riley a definitive partner. Myers, I thought he's played okay. Obviously, something happened in Montreal that was just not okay with his game. He's going to sit again. It looks like Hakanpää is skating with the team, so that's very interesting. Does he get into any games before the Four Nations Cup? Is he even going to go to the Four Nations Cup? I think that's interesting to keep an eye on, too. And Dewar was not skating this morning, so I do think it's Reeves. That is a typo. There's no way Lorentz can play 2 positions on the same line at once, but I do think it's Reeves in the lineup. And Columbus has some big guys who like to fight, like to play physical. I would imagine Reeves is in the lineup tomorrow.
It is
Columbus
Reeves.
Is another
just double
team.
checking here. It is Reeves.
Yeah. And Columbus is in the fight for the playoffs right now. They're a desperate team, so they're going to come in hungry. So the Leafs are going to have their hands full. And Hildeby, can he bounce back? I believe he played earlier this season against Columbus, and it was a poor performance by the entire team. So I wonder if he bounces back in this one. And you need to give Joseph Woll a little bit of rest here. I was, assuming he was going to play last night. That's good, but he does need some rest until Anthony Stolarz comes back.
Yeah, and hopefully the Leafs can continue their hot play as of late, 4 wins in a row. Again, game against Columbus on tomorrow, on Wednesday, and then another game on Saturday. So keep you up to date with all the latest news. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Let me know down below. Let us know down below what your thoughts are on these updates, as well as the big win yesterday and some of the quotes that came out. See you later.